one summer. Flacket joins the ranks of those, very proficient on the champion, one of his favorites, and is going to be paired alongside the Rel. So a very aggressive bot lane 2 versus 2, which gives the Heretics a very clear avenue to play through. MKOI going for the Ezreal Braum, much more defensive. You can clearly tell with such little engage, they're playing a difficult to execute composition that's very much about finding poke. They have the side lane threat of the Ambessa, paired up with the fact that you don't really have any CC in this composition. Like, yeah, you really kind of don't. Like,
public execution locks someone up for a second, Betty, and then you've got concussive blows.
Yeah, Braum's passive, sure, but
and
it is...
Nidalee Heal gives us some attack speed, so you can get the concussive blows off quicker.
Let me tell you right now, Lilia loves compositions where there's very little lockdown.
Very happy. The only problem for Lilia here is that Braum's shield, I believe, can intercept the projectiles of her ult. So if she is on the other side of Braum to where she's on, because it's a projectile, right? So
I mean, that does make sense.
You can stop the charge of it going through. And that's such a niche interaction that it shouldn't really be a problem.
Yeah, this is the first time I've heard of it.
Let's get on into the game, though. We kind of built the stakes a little bit earlier on. We have a pause, so the stakes are going to fall through the floor. Apologies.
Hit us with the stakes.
Well, if Heretics win, SK are eliminated from playoff contention, because Heretics would get to 3 wins. They would be tied at 3 wins as the lowest wins out of the remaining teams apart from SK and Rogue, and SK can't get to 3 wins because they're 0-7 and only have 2 games left.
Correct.
If MKOI win, they go up to 6-1, joining Fnatic up there. But what we haven't talked about a huge amount is when we get into playoffs, our top 2 teams are seeded on opposite sides of the bracket for the first match. So if you are first and second, Fnatic and MKOI for this example, they can't play each other in our first best of 3s.
Yes. Those are all factually correct
that's
statements.
The stakes.
Yeah.
You want to get in the top 2 because then you don't have to play a really good team in your first best of 3.
Correct.
It's double elim, so you would still get another chance, but avoid the best teams.
Yeah, and for those that have followed our format, it is identical to the winter, summer, and spring of last year, and it's and we'll be moving not next week, the week after. Into
break week next week.
Yes, teams will be given an opportunity to prep ahead of the fearless best of 3s that they will be going into, and then our players will be a 3-week sprint to decide the winter split champion, and the winner will make their way to Korea to compete in the first stand competition.
First stand.
Yep, first stand. Going to be an exciting time. 3 international events this year. Now, as we jump onto the Rift, as you've highlighted, a lot of pressure. What I will say about Heretics is, to me, they've come across as a very green team. Right, okay. You know, like, it does make sense when you do have 3 rookies joining the roster. And I think what's interesting about this team is that they've kind of made mistakes that you would expect of a rookie roster.
Sure.
But I think we've seen potential, which I think is a really exciting thing, because with some teams, you sometimes see that, like, you don't really see what direction they're going in. They don't seem to have any clear identity. But I feel like Heretics is trying really hard to carve out that identity and figure out the direction that they want to go in. And they're finding brief moments of opportunity. And in this game, they've clearly said, you know what, Flacket, Stend, we're going to be playing around the bot side of the map. We're going to be looking to try and get Flacket ahead, play a traditional front to back, have Sheo creating some chaos with some of the priority that you do have in the early laning phase. That does mean that I wonder if KOI is thinking about the lane swap. Now, these deep wars that were invested by KOI, you can see them on your screen, highlighted, if I can find the right button. You can see this deep vision invested all the way in the lane to identify who is where and what is happening in the early game. And they're going to spot out this bot lane heading towards the top side of the map. So KOI have been able to successfully avoid what would have been a very difficult 2 versus 2. They should be able to get those safe lanes. And notice as well, Mirwin immediately moving towards the mid lane. When we saw these lane swaps happening at the World Championship, often you would have these shared lanes to get those shared experience and get that early level 2 to then threaten a potential dive on the bot side of the map. Mirwin and Jojo can utilize this pressure against Camilo to also give Elyoya the opportunity to set up for an invade, but given that Sheo is starting on the bot side of the map, it's not really going to be much to invade unless they set their sights on the top side, which I would be a little bit surprised by. But they garnered all this information thanks to those early wars that were invested, and now Mirwin, he's about 2 minions off of getting that level 2, which puts him in a pretty comfortable spot. No real risk of getting done.
Carlson has been able to soak up XP underneath the tower down towards this bottom side. He's already level 2 and he's going to get his first minion of the game on the board as well. Elyoya is on his way. TP is possible for Camilo, but he's been chunked out a bit in that mid lane. It looks like a dive might be on the horizon. Big thing here.
Race to level 3 for Carlson.
Can you Pathfinder out of the concussive blows? Avoid that CC. Here it comes. There's the Pathfinder. Still underneath the tower. Doesn't lock anyone up. Alvaro takes a couple of tower shots and the plate falls. Carlson One minion short of level 3 is going to hit it as that minion dies. He dashes forward, flashes away from the Winter's Bite. Once again, it's Elioya tanking the tower this time. Takes 2 shots. A perfect dive from MKOI. In the end, they have to burn a heal. And that's about it.
I mean, I will say Carlsen played that about as well as he could have. He was able to get level 3. He circumvents the Q from Alvaro by flashing over it. And I mean, he couldn't have played that much better. He's also able to TP back in because the wave isn't so stacked that Koi can go for the redive. I mean, best case scenario, I feel, for Carlsen. Koi had to invest a lot of time. They didn't really commit many summoners, but it is first blood that is drawn for Koi. So, I mean, well played from both sides. Of course, the good news for Flackhead is he's given a lot of free time up towards the top side of the map to just farm away. He even gets himself a plate. And now, Sheo has made his way top and has that XP advantage over Elioy.
Stan looking for the engage on Mirwin, who does just use that Drake Hound step to dash his way away. Control wood will be cleared out. Stan does have a jungle advantage because, of course, he spent all the time that Elioya was diving bot, just farming through his camps. And gets over to that 28 farm mark, looking for perhaps a first reset. Just wants to keep clearing this wave. TP in from Mirwin to dodge Stend, Blackett, and Sheo. He is underneath the tower. They can get him down here. Already down to half HP. Unbreakable input Alvaro. Jojo on the wrong side of Kamilu here. Jojo has to flash away. Kamilu has the flash of his own. Elioya looking to come in, but already Jojo is like a dodo dead. Kamilu is going to get chased down. Elioya lands the spear. Kamilu will fall. Doesn't burn his summoner though.
I mean, a big outplay there from Kamilu, getting the solo kill onto Jojo. I hope we get an opportunity to look back at that because I feel like Jojo just made a poor assessment by going for an all-in that Camilo in the extended trade was able to get the better of. A nice confidence booster for him as Heretics set their sights on another dive top.
Jojo's pathing up towards this though, so this dive has to be rapid. Mirwin flashes away, Sten tanks up a tower shot. Jojo now on the wrong side of the rest of his teammates, but Mirwin able to farm up the wave. I say that, he's got 3 CS so far, but he's farmed this one, Betty. And slowly catching back up. In the end, the dive dissuaded. Mirwin did have to burn that flash.
Mirwin still being put under a lot of pressure. You can see the farm discrepancy is pretty significant between the 2 top laners. We look back at this. Oh, Jojo, that was dodge medic. That Q nearly hit us. That was big blunder there. If he'd hit that Q, that trade would have been a lot closer, but a bit of a misclick there means that Camilo ends up getting a solo kill in his favor, and you know he's happy to get the flash out from Elioya, and he's happy to get that kill.
That's a shocked blast, I believe.
And it was. Now,
so, yeah,
Dragon and Grubs become the next priority objective. We turn our attention to the bot laners as they often love to get involved in this early objective. Flackhead making his way over, and you can see those stacks really starting to mount. 131 on the Draven to stand, face checks.
Jump away early here. Another auto attack is enough for the concussive blows. Sheo trying to come in from the side as well. Sheo will pick up the honey fruit in the middle of the fight. Sheo trying to block for his support right now. Super getting chased down by Flackhead, who flashes across, and Super flashes into the grub pit. Now, Super, I don't think there's anywhere for you to go. Sheo takes the kill, dodges away from the Winter's Bite. Sten trying to come in to help his jungler, who'll flash the wall. Elioya dashes across though. Watch out, he pierced Kamilu! A double for Sheo. Elioya down to 200 HP. Sten, he's a wing's breath away from dying. Gets into the bush, dodges away from the spear, dashes back in. Jojo takes him.
And somehow at the end of all that, it's Koi that get the grubs?
I mean, Elioya might die to the grubs.
Oh!
Swell seed! It's wide. Jojo now shows towards the top side. He's got to catch the wave. Smite out from Elioya. Doesn't have another smite, so Sheo will be able to get one grub of the 3.
Back.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. I mean, remember that fight started with Sten face-checking the brush and Koi looking to punish the support. Only level 3, a very squishy rally in the early game. He survived that entire exchange as the attention was turned onto Flackhead, who saw a very easy angle onto Super, and I really felt like it was a bit of a misplay from the side of Koi, completely abandoning their AD carry. But Super, demonstrating what he has done so far this split with fantastic mechanics, great patience, is able to buy enough time for his team to turn their attention back towards him, get that kill onto Flackhead, and then the chaos really did ensue.
Yeah, Flackhead didn't cash out either, importantly. Now down to 90 stacks on those Adoration. Carlsen is level 6 first between the 2 top laners. Alvaro on his way across. Carlsen puts a ward in, realizes, I don't really know where the enemy support or jungle are right now. Backs away as soon as he sees the approaching Alvaro.
But I do want to come back to that super point, only because last year so many knew him for his comments around him claiming to be stronger than Deft, right? And he became a figure that within the community, a lot of people would, highlight his mistakes and point at all of the things where he fell short. But I think so far this year, he has been a rock for this KOI roster. His consistency has been incredible to watch. And we turn our attention back to this play. As the collapse initially comes through, understand, you can see the damage is good. And Super crucially uses his E right in the face of Flackett. So Flackett wisely turns his attention. You can see the damage is good. He gets a bit of a... I think he got the heal back from Aljoya at the very clutch there, which keeps him alive. Either it was the heal from Alvaro, or it was the heal from Aljoya. But that buys him enough time to get into the Grub's pit. And then ultimately, he's able to buy enough time until Sheo ends up cleaning that kill up. Nice flash from him. And then, as we highlighted, a really nice turnaround there from Sten to allow Sheo to get another kill. And then Sten, he had nothing left. He did everything that he could, and it ends up being 1 for 2 in the Grub straight.
Aljoya doing a good job to escape the Camilo Valkyrie in as well. I thought he was a goner there. For the moment, though, MKOI about 400 gold ahead. They did manage to pick up the Feat of Warfare, picked up the first 3 kills because Super died a little bit later than Flackett died. So they are in an okay position in this early game. Gold leads for Carlson and Sheo, who's 2-0. Currently on this Lilia. Flackett caught out with the concussive blows. Doesn't have cleanse, only has the barrier. Whirling Death comes out, and he manages to get a kill on the clapback, but he died beforehand, so those adoration stacks fell off.
A nice play there from KOI to punish Flackett's no flash. But the fact that he was able to get a kill back there, impressive stuff as well. Ends up being a 1-for-1. Gold advantage in favor of Flackett, just because he's able to get that 175 gold cash out. The gold is pretty much even between the 280 carries, even though Super does have that kill lead. This is what Draven making his way back towards mid. Super level 7. Stun will connect, but I don't really think Flackett can convert this into much. Supports really struggling on the experience department here. The Grubs are going to be respawning in a minute's time. No dragon has fallen just yet, but I imagine Sheo setting his sights on it right now, given that he has push in bot and in mid.
Has fallen behind a little bit in terms of CS. He's been playing around with his team quite a lot, but Lilia at this point farms like an absolute storm. Leandri's already complete. You've got the movement speed as well from the blue Pokemon. Can't remember, it's Moss Stomper? No, something. As you go through the bushes. Gust Walker, that's the one. It gives you extra movement speed, buddy. So it's a Gust. We just call it Squirtle.
Don't know if you can, but...
I can say it's Squirtle as long as it's not like saying directly is Squirtle. You know, Aljoya though, onto Sheo. Put the sleep down. Sheo has to flash away from the spear. Was about to make a connection with his rear. The Grub's up in 15 seconds time, and Sheo not very healthy for it. Has also just invested his ultimate on escaping Aljoya's clutches.
Has to be careful as Aljoya fishes for a spear but will not find one. And fortunately for KOI, getting the flash out from Sheo will give them advantage. Oh, they turn their attention onto Aljoya.
Yeah, has to flash then, pounce over the wall.
I like the aggression there from Stend. He doesn't have level 6 yet, but neither does Alvaro. It's a very awkward situation for both sides to be in. Super making his way across, but his mana is relatively low. Camilo really wants to go and catch that top wave, so the numbers advantage in favor of KOI.
I don't mind this from Heretics, right? Go in, brute force 1, and then accept the fact you're not going to have the mites, right? Like, you make sure that MKOI aren't stacking up towards those neutral feats of strength. Yes, they get 4, they will have mites, but they haven't had a lot of time with your towers, and 1 mite is nowhere near as powerful as having the full 6 grub buff.
What I will say that I like a lot about these fights is due to the limited crowd control that is largely on the side of KOI, but really you could argue for both sides. It makes these fights like very chaotic because it's not about just locking someone down, like one-shotting them and then moving on to the next target. It's a lot of dancing back and forth, a lot of skill expression with making sure you land those skill shots, being able to dodge at the right time, saving your flash for the right moment. Skirmishes are definitely very tense as we find ourselves at 4 to 5 on the kill board. Right now, Camilo is getting some much-needed protection, but keep your eyes on Super, making his way up through the river. They've spotted the Draven out in mid. Numbers advantage in favor of KOI, and Camilo has to respect that. Stend now, finally getting level 6. Alvaro is still a little bit behind, as Flackett sets his sights on perhaps the tower. No, he doesn't want to overstay his welcome.
I think he just wants to make sure that Super is losing minions here. Gonna land an axe on Super, the Mystic Shot just going wide, and looking for perhaps an engage on Alvaro, but You know, 3 minions lost, 4 minions lost for Super is a incremental advantage that Flacker can get behind. He's completed his Bloodthirster already. I think the next fight we're really going to see is around one of these neutral objectives ready. 3 minutes before the Rift Herald, 2 before we get that Ocean Drake. So perhaps it's a good time to talk about why Heretics winning this game would eliminate SK from the standings. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but actually with Rogue losing the last game, we have 2 more teams locked into our playoff spot, Giant X and G2. The standings not quite updated for the G2 victory yet. They are at 4 and 3. If Heretics win this, they'll get to 3 wins, which SK can't match. So SK would be entirely eliminated, and Rogue would need to win their final 2 games of the split if they are going to avoid, I was going to say relegation, but just avoid elimination. From the winter season.
Yep. The struggles for SK and for Rogue really is that they still need to win their games to even be in contention of Heretics to contest for that 8th place spot, which is really what these bottom teams are fighting for, to have a chance to compete in the playoffs. You have to remember that last year, MKOI, formerly Mad Lions, made an impressive run in the playoffs, given that they did fall so short during the regular season. I mean, actually, it wasn't that close. It was the season finals where they ended up making the impressive run, right? Yeah. But all you need is that opportunity, and that's what these teams are looking for. Is the blue buff becomes the focus now for Heretics. Stolen away, dragging up in 50 seconds as well. Camilo likely going to go back to bot lane. Super trying to get what poke he can onto this bot lane. Oh, he goes in.
They're Super dashing forward there. Alvaro on the front line. Glacial Fisher going out. Loating Lullaby is going to put Alvaro to sleep. Elioya still putting the spears towards Heretics. Jojo TP'd in. Camilo is already in the middle of the fray. Sten goes in onto Super, who cleanses, who flashes, but Flackett follows. Flackett picks up his enemy AD carry. TP coming in from the Cassante as Carlson and Mirwin now look to join the Barney. The Drake's still the prize in both these teams' eyes, but for now, Heretics will back away and just get the mid-prior.
Again, another chaotic fight where MKOI just overstay their welcome. Sten proving so valuable in so many of these exchanges. The moment that you burn that crucial cooldown, he is looking for it, and he punishes Super, gets both summoners out from him, and Flackett secures himself another kill. Now, an 840 gold lead in favor of his enemy AD carry counterpart. 5-5 in kills. Dragon has been completely abandoned by both sides.
Rift Herald's better, Betty.
Certainly looks to be the case. We've only seen 1 Dragon kill so far in this game, definitely low on the priority list. Sten investing his vision. Both AD carries opening up in the mid lane.
Picking up the petals as well. I was going to comment on this. Larson walked past like 5 petals last game, and it just frustrates me. It's free stuff. It's free gold, essentially, for your team. As Mirwin goes in with a public execution. Camilo still has the flash. Will Valkyrie away. But now there's a lot of damage coming out from Mirwin. Flashes away from the Shadowing Strike. 2 shots! I think he would have just caught the tail of the Corgi there, as Camilo does burn the flash in the end. Now MKOI with perfect setup around this Rift Herald. Shell could look for a Loating Lullaby, though. Doesn't quite have it off cooldown yet. 20 seconds remain before it will be back up. Flackett trying to get mid-prior, wrestle it out of Jojo's hands. In the end, I think Heretics might accept that they shouldn't really play for this one, but they are TPing Camilo back in, so maybe they want a little bit more of the action.
They're too late, though. They're way too late. Good poke comes out from MKOI to
Can they fight afterwards?
I don't think MKOI should. Like, ideally, once you've got the objective, you've leveraged the strength of your comp. But typically, the way that you do that is by chipping away at your enemy's health bar. Mirwin just said, I'm going to slice you up and force you to go to base. Camilo was immediately forced to retreat, and now he has to be a lot where. I mean, look at the damage coming out from Mirwin. He's lost his flash, and now a dive is on the horizon.
I think Camilo's about to be flushed, Fetty. Winter's Bite goes wide, the Rift Herald tanks it up, Camilo goes in with the Valkyrie. Elioya is tanking here, Sten's looking for him, can't quite connect. Now Sten's in the midst of MKOI, Whirling Death will come out, Mirwin locked up against the wall, tried to get in to the Rift Herald, but it died as he made his attempt. In the end, 2 for 2, a tower as well for MKOI, and in the mid lane, Jojo continues to push in.
Good awareness there from Jojo, realizing that he could have gone towards the top side of the map, but it really wouldn't have changed that much. Instead, get yourself that extra objective, 2 towers secured for MKOI. And you can see here that Camilo, he has no flash, so the Corki's bubble butt goes back to base as a nice re-engage once again comes in from Stand, locking up 2 members of MKOI to allow for the rest of the team to follow up. The Draven doesn't get the kills there, but still, getting them onto show is definitely not a bad situation to be in. 4-0-1 for this Lilia. The second major item almost completed, means that this Lilia is going to become a problem for KOI. As we talked about, the limited amount of crowd control will make it hard to lock this Lilia down.
Remember that Drake we fought over 3 minutes ago, Betty?
Yes, I do.
Well, it's still there if we want to go for it. Flacket has to get away from Jojo, who
Whoa.
flashes forward. Flacket pops the barrier. Great knockback onto Sten. Flacket tries to turn it back around, but Jojo puts him in the ground. Camilo still diving forward, looking for the missiles. Public execution down towards the bottom side. And Sheo, all that gold is all for naught, as Sheo falls as well. Super will have the arcane shift up in a second. Stend on the wrong side of the wall. Camilo and Castle now need to retreat. Super dashes in. The phosphorus bomb is not met with a missile compatriot. And Super will take another. MKOI just absolutely smashing the skirmish.
Just like that, they catch Heretics with their pants down. Unbelievable execution, as it's Jojo that flashes onto Flackhead. The rest of his team is quick to follow up on that aggression. And I think that's one of the biggest strengths of this roster. They are unafraid and they are fast. Ooh, just barely. As KOI is able to secure themselves the dragon. And we look back at this play. Look in the mid lane. Flacket isolated. Doesn't have the support available. Jojo flashes in, gets the barrier out from him. Super is right there with Jojo. They think they've overstepped their bounds. Alvaro turns his attention to try and assist as well. They get that initial kill. But now the fight is on two fronts. On the bottom side, it's Sheo that's left isolated. Both Elyoya and Mirwin lock him down. And now the fight has become too scattered in these skirmishes. KOI is able to come out ahead. And they're able to find 4 kills for 1.
Felt a little bit like Heretics skipping steps, right? Flacket's playing for mid-prio. You're already starting up the Drake with the Lilia and the Cassante. You don't actually have control around the mid lane, and Carlson doesn't have control in the bot side as he was around his tower as it fell. Goes all out, looking for the damage onto Alvaro, but he's going to get stunned up even with the Q3. Carlson will die for the second time this game. And MKOI so willing to pounce on these small mistakes from Heretics. And now looking for a tier 2 on the bottom lane. Jojo was slowed up. Lilting Lullaby is going to come out. He's been put to sleep, and without a flash and without any way to escape, I think Flacket's going to be gifted this kill. He gets the shutdown. And that will be all for that in the bot lane.
So, a bit of an overextension there from KOI. But ultimately, I say more advantages gained. Not really. They just kind of got a kill. They moved into the enemy jungle. They tried to steal away some camps, and then they kind of overstayed and ended up just being a 1-for-1. Mirwin is pushing on the top side of the map. Artican is available, but no objective was really secured off the back of it. Which means that we return rather to the neutral state. You can see a 2k gold lead in favor of KOI for the time being. As Ezreal securing those 2 items puts him at a very powerful spot. I'll still keep my eyes on Sten though. I feel like so far in this game he's been making a lot of hero plays. His initiations have been crucial to setting up Heretics to win out on these fights.
I 100% agree with you. I think Stend has a really tricky road to walk.
He certainly does.
Because if he jumps on Mirwin, Mirwin dashes away. If he jumps on Elyoya, Elyoya dashes away. If he jumps on Jojo, Jojo knocks him out of the air, as he did in that mid lane fight. If he jumps on Super, Super dashes away, and Alvaro just puts up the Unbreakable. So it is very much about, can he engage? And in the split second he is on top of someone, can his team follow up? We'll see if he looks for an engage in a second. Things like this are great. The swell seed into the engage. Jojo's already slowed up. He wasn't in the right form either. And that's exactly how Heretic can pounce.
The challenge of this comp for KOI is patience, because a single overstep will allow Heretics to lock you down and find a pick. But look at the aggression that we're seeing in response. KOI, knowing that they're a man down, are still getting in the face of Heretics and looking to challenge them for control over the river. Mirwin, he goes in.
Carlson looking for something here.
Look at Stend.
See him, Stend. Stend's getting onto the flank. Shadowing Strike crashes down as well, but Alvaro stands beside his teammates and keeps Stend at bay. Alvaro now with the Unbreakable, able to survive at half HP, and Topher's missing Mirwin. And Carlson dived in and couldn't find a connection. Carlson dies for it, and MKOI on the front foot once again.
Heretics try really hard to force the fight, but KOI navigate it beautifully. They keep them at arm's length. They utilize the Unbreakable will to perfection, and now Jojo's back in the fray, and now it's them forcing the objective. It's now Heretics' job to walk into a 4 versus 5 fight.
Mirwin has the flank as well. No public execution for him. Camilo on that front line. Sheo has that Lilting Lullaby. Camilo already down to a third, and Mirwin immediately dives in to try and take out the enemy mid. He jumps onto Stend instead. Trusha Barrage will find its mark onto Stend. The Artican secured for MKOI. They almost pay for it with Elyoya's life, but they secure it. And now they have that false light for the next 150 seconds.
I mean, it's a frustrating situation for Heretics to find themselves in, because multiple times we've seen them punish the mistakes that KOI are making, which, again, it's a difficult comp to play when you're very much centered around poke, very much around creating pockets of vision where you can chip away your opponent's HP bar. It's easy to overstep and then get punished for it. But the aggression that KOI plays with, it was a 4 versus 5, and they were not playing like that was the situation they were in. They're very aware of what ultimates we use, they know the summoner spells, and they're playing within their limits. And it felt like multiple times in that river fight that they hadn't. You know, that they've made a mistake. You're stretching too thin, like it's too much of an issue, and they still win out on the fight. And I think that's the biggest strength that we're seeing of this team. They're fast, they're aggressive, and it's why they're sitting at the top of our table.
Pulling Heretics around the map right now as well. Jojo's pushing in the top side. Super secures the mid lane prio, and now he can team up with his compatriots down towards the bottom side. Flaccid with a good side step there from the Winter's Bite and the Mystic Shot. Camilo trading with Jojo, but Jojo has a false life, Camilo. He doesn't even need a third of his burst health bar to take you out.
Bit of revenge there for Jojo after what happened in the mid lane. Numbers advantage. No TP available for Jojo, but he can just start pushing in that top side. Looks like he's going to move into the enemy jungle. No wave really to play with. Maybe he's going to look to push out mid. Just a bit of a standstill right now between the two teams. Dragon is available, but KOI right now have no interest in it.
I really like the positioning from KOI generally, though, because what they're managing to do is split the fight, and Stand always has to think, if I engage on Elioyo and Alvaro towards the top side, Mirwin and Super are free on the bottom side of the fight to engage on towards my backline. If I engage towards Mirwin, well then Elioyo and Alvaro can just put damage down across the wall. It's really nice positioning to make it difficult for Heretics to actually find avenues to engage the fight. Carlson, concussive blows is going to proc on him, but he's still Cassante. Glacier Fisher going down as well. Sten still looking for the engage, but once again, there's 2 pincers that he has to deal with. Flaccid caught out by Mirwin. Stand aside will stop Mirwin getting the kill. Jojo going in for a little bit more, still has that false life. Elioyo dashing in now, down to a 3rd HP, survives through the missile barrage coming out from Camilo. Jojo will withdraw. A tier 2 now in the bot side. MKOI's prize. They are 5 turrets to 1 up at a 5,000 gold lead.
An ambitious flash there from Jojo, but as you rightly said, not really punished for it. The Dragon is available, but at the end of the day, KOI got the 2 towers that they were looking for. They get an even greater gold advantage. They put even more pressure onto Heretics, who's very quickly losing control of this game.
It's all right, Betty. We're at the window, okay? This is the Lilia window. You have 1 opportunity to do this per game. Seeker's Arm Guard, Flash, Q, Ult, Seeker's Arm Guard. And you just get a 5-man stun. The question is, will
that's what you just get, right?
Wait, but if you do it well, you can get a 10-man sleep. I've seen that happen on the world stage, Betty, okay? The question is if MKOI are ever grouped up enough for him to do that, because I feel that's where we're at in this game. It's a Flash, Blooming Burst, Lilia Q, into a Lilting Lullaby, and then followed up by Stand. That's what you have to do, really, to get back into this game if you're Heretics.
Wombo combo is for sure much needed. Heretics set their sights on the mid lane. They've got top pushed in their favor. Baron is available. Dragon has been a very low priority. Super ease in, gets punished for it. Elioyo sitting in a bush that is warded as the Dragon ends up going down. And basically this is just a game of poke. Can the poke even land? There's a little bit more that gets thrown onto Camilo. His mana relatively low as well. Flank comes in.
This is gorgeous. He is spotted on vision as he comes around the wall. Show looking for the swell seeds as well. Mirwin is below Camilo right now. Sten jumps over the wall, doesn't find a connection. The public execution, though, jumps onto Carlson. Camilo trying to escape, but still doesn't have his flash up. Carlson down as well. And Heretics, they look for the engage, but MKOI warded their flanks, and Stend could not find it.
A moment of hesitation for Stend. He couldn't quite decide which target he wanted to lock down. Heretics were not quick enough to adjust the game plan, and KOI, as they've done all game long, punish the indecision. They set their sights on the Baron. This is Heretics' last chance.
Sheo trying to get into the pit here. It's down to 5,000. Sheo caught up with the concussive blows, yet to be stunned. Still 3 procs needed on it. Walking around, all that extra movement speed from the Lilia passive from the Gustwalker hatching, but he just can't get in towards the pit. Mirwin's done a great job in the last few fights of just being another pincer, you know, always positioning behind the team, getting flanks off, finding someone, positioning himself up towards the red buff area here to make sure that Sheo can't walk in unabetted, and now Flaccid. I think Mirwin could have gone for a little bit more there if he wanted. Sheo was waiting around his Razor Beaks.
We look back at the fight, and again, it was this moment. Notice just Sten moving up and down, indecisive as to who the target will be. Kamilu a little bit separated alongside their top laner to follow up on that engage, and it's that right there that KOI look to punish. Heretics, they realize the situation is dire. It's a difficult engage to find. The poke is continuing to come through from the side of KOI, and it ends up falling apart. Baron secured. KOI, with a 5.6k gold lead, set their sights on the base of Heretics.
I know I keep talking about how hard it is for Sten to find engages in this situation, but it's because MKOI are playing the fight so well. Like, Super is down towards the bottom side of it. Mirwin is flanking behind. Elioya is looking for the side position. Mirwin is caught out here with the Loathing Lullaby. Goes back in with the public execution. Just to avoid the CC, it seems, as Carlson will shut him down. Super now has to jump away with the Arcane Shift. Sten looking for the Shadowing Strike will get the stun, but Flackhead now raining into this wall. Alvaro with the Unbreakable, and then Elioya with the kill. Alvaro flashing away. Carlson going forward. Elioya's going to fall as well. And just as I praise MKOI for their team fighting, they get caught out a little bit. They lose two. They're top in their jungle, and they only get Sten in response.
It showcases the fragility of this composition.
They're just going to go. They're just going to look for him. He dashes away with the Valkyrie. Now Alvaro, you step too far forward. Jojo's there as well. Okay. Maybe if the Winter's Bite hits, you can continue for that engage. But after that point, I think discretion is the better part of valor there, MKOI.
KOI is fast and aggressive. It is both a double-edged dagger, especially when playing a composition like this, and Heretics finally find an opportunity to pounce themselves. They get 4 kills, and I will say, if we get a replay of that, you've got to keep track of Flackhead and how he utilizes the Draveny to interrupt so many things there. That initial interrupt onto Mirwin to set up for the Q. He comes back in, knowing that there's not much that he can do. He dies. Super ends up Eing. He's forced to flash very early, gets the E back up. And then Alvaro comes into safety, but look at this E that's going to come through onto Elioya. He tries to pounce in, interrupted, immediately gets converted into a kill. And then we turn our attention once again. You're going to see another E come through from Flackhead as Alvaro tries to dive in to follow up. I think it's actually onto Jojo. Kamilu oversteps it. Look,
I'm
keep
just
your
going
eyes
to
on
say,
Flackhead.
everything missed. Just walk away, guys.
Nice knockback from Carlson into the E from Flackhead. Results in 4 kills. And yeah. That was a bad fight from KOI.
That end just feels like Yellow Star. He's just too damn tanky, man. How do I get him? But as you say, a double-edged sword. The aggression for MKOI. You can see the damage from Flackhead in that fight. 7.5k. And now Heretics might feel they have a little bit of the impetus in this game. They're trying to gain the mid lane prio. Kamilu pushed up with that Gatling gun. Super doing the same, though. Claiming out these waves pretty quickly. Across the board, we're looking at about 3 items on our carries. 3 on Super, 2.5 so far on Flackhead. Needs to finish up that Executioners. Carlson. Oh. Heretics starting to collapse. The public execution out. Mirwin will be on the right side of the wall here. Carlson with the Pathmaker out. Dodges away from the Glacial Fissure as well. Both the top laners showing just how much mobility you can have in 2024. As you say, mid lane pushed out by Heretics, but there's no wave there for them to really do anything with. And MKOI have a wave in the top side to continue to push forward with.
Heretics in a very awkward spot right now, and it's so hard to get back. Elioya lands the spear onto Flackhead. The inhibitor is getting very low. Jojo can't afford to overstay here.
It's really good movement from MKOI, pulling Heretics around the map. They won't get the inhibitor, but they do get the inhibitor tower. Sten takes another spear. He's down to a 3rd HP. Basically no magic resist on that rel. Went for the Ionian Boots of Lucidity and then the Trailblazer, so very much lacking in magic resist. And Elioya at 3 items with the Rabadons complete is a very prickly pair to try and pluck.
Dragon going to be started off. Kamilu, I mean,
it's given, right?
They can do. They have no vision. It's far too hard to approach this composition blind. They use the blue trinket, but too late. The Baron will be the next objective. I felt like this game was going to be
over,
an easy one to close out for KOI, but due to their mishap on the top side of the map, we will go another round, and that's all Heretics are looking for. One more opportunity. Notice the Rylai's secured there for show, holding onto that arm guard rather than upgrading it. Would rather get that extra bit of utility.
Until you use it, what's the point,
yeah,
right?
I mean, I agree. The 3rd item also finished for both mid and bot on the side of Heretics. This side, sorry, this composition is definitely something you can't afford to underestimate. It all comes down to the execution. We've talked extensively about the limited crowd control. On the side of KOI, Sten needs to find a good engage. It's not an easy thing to do.
We've all been there, Sten, it's fine.
Takes a bounce on the trampoline. That's a good time.
It's a perfectly adequately lengthed jump. Carlson going to jump in front of Stand here, as they do set up around the Baron. 20 seconds before it spawns. And the thing I think for MKOI is, if they play the fights like they played every fight apart from the last one, they should be fine. But Stand is looking for the flank here. Super and Elioya out of vision. Alvaro caught with a little bit of a slow. Mirwin looking for that flank of his own. I don't know if Stand spotted him there. No
so far,
pings.
not really any poke is landing. Again, we see Heretics a little bit split up here.
Okay, there's some poke onto Sheo.
Good poke onto Sheo.
Alvaro puts down the Unbreakable. That can be big as well. Swell seed
now
across the
poke
wall.
is coming through.
And Mirwin is just split pushing while all of this is happening. Heretics using 5 members to try and gain control, but Camilu's damage is starting to stick a little bit into Alvaro and Elioya. Remember, Elioya does have that heal. Recall's going to come out from Stand. With the way pushed in the top side, Carlson's going to be the one to answer that. Camilu here to make sure that MKOI don't freely get to start the Baron. Sheo going down towards the bottom side to clear out his red. Hasn't been spotted on any vision as far as I can see.
These poke comps have been all the range around. What's the range?
I mean, they have been. Good one, Betty.
All the rage around the world, and you can see why. Good obnoxious composition to play into. I'm waiting for the Soraka comps to start coming back into meta, but this is the tricky part. Camilu eats a spear, maybe he eats a shock blast, and now 50% HP. The call comes from KOI. Do you want to fight us when you have this HP? And often the answer is no. They want to go back to base. Maybe they expend the TP, which he does have. The red buff does help. Get a bit of extra healing with that buff sitting on top of you, but look at how much space KOI reclaim with their poke, making it difficult for Heretics to approach.
Sheo just looking for that singular swell seed. If he lands it on Elioya and Super, if he lands it on a couple of the carries, you know he is just going to go. True Shot Barrage comes out. Doesn't really seem to do too much. The shielding coming out from Stand and Carlson enough to eat through that damage. Stand now has a locket. He's down to half HP. Camilu gaining mid lane prio. Carlson jumped on. Concussive blows one auto away from being propped onto him. Break up in a minute 30. MKOI. His battle lines drawn. Public execution onto Blackhead as he tries to escape. Has already popped the barrier. Meanwhile, lacing Lullaby on Jojo, but Alvaro is going to block him. Sten goes in onto Super. He cleanses and dashes across the wall. Now Mirwin's on the back line. Sten diving in. Super dashes in, but Blackhead will be able to secure him. Elioya's going to get him in response. Camilo now up towards the top side, trying to take down Jojo, and will manage to do so. Elioya trying to escape as Sheo has buried the cat 6 feet under. Camilo still chasing forward here as the fight has come out on Heretics' terms.
It certainly has, Medic. Heretics, after holding the line, after weathering the harassment of poke that was coming out from KOI, are able to play the fight well. They're able to find 3 kills, and those are some long death timers, so they can turn their attention to the Baron.
Look to try and chip through that tier 2 in the mid lane as well. The Baron, their first target, will even out the gold between the two teams. Flackett up in 20 seconds would be a long time to wait to make sure that he gets the buff as well.
The fight happened on multiple fronts, and where my focus was on was between the AD carries. Flackett flashing after Super, looking to try and kill him as quickly as possible, and then Elioya getting the kill onto him. But I noticed that at the end of that fight, Sheo was largely untouched, and I have to come back to the question of how did they manage to deal with Sheo and this Lilia in the fight? When we get the replay, I want to track how he was able to just be a nuisance, because Mirwin diving onto the backline there, quite an ambitious engage.
It really was, and now Soul, the next objective for both these teams. It's up in 20 seconds. Obviously, Heretics have the Baron, the mid-wave, not in their favor right now. They're pushing through bot. Flackett, no sums. Super the same. In fact, no flashes at all for anyone on MKOI. Mirwin looking for that flank position again, Betty. Trying to get behind them. Sten down to half HP. The Dragon now spawning into the pit. As we said, would be Infernal Soul for MKOI. And Infernal with this poke would be absolutely devastating. Spears rain down. Sten dashes out. Mirwin still looking for that flank. Super eats an axe, and that's a third of his HP already gone.
Look at the poke, Medic. It is just ruthless.
Carlson trying to get back in. True Shot Barrage goes through him and through Flackett. Sten still looking for that flank position. Elioya still on the Drake. It's 9,000 HP on it. Lilting Lullaby on Jojo. Also connects on Alvaro. He puts down the Glacial Fisher. Mirwin still trying to get him, but Camilu's keeping him at bay. The Drake's still aggroed, but it's still only at 9,000 HP. Sten's so low at the moment. Super gonna have to run. The Whirling Death is trying to chase him down. Public execution onto Camilu. Mirwin will go into the pit. Camilu is in fact the one who goes in. Sten in there, in the middle of the pit. It's secured by Heretics, and now the fight really begins. Alvaro and Jojo have to run because Sheo is on the chase, and that deer goes fast. Watch out, Eep! It's Sheo, and he's here to party. 2 more to Heretics. They get the Drake as well. A TP to the bot lane as Heretics, they're going to look to break open the base.
They might just look to end the game. They still have 4 members alive. They're able to dance around such a dangerous fight. And just like that, a single misstep from MKOI, sieging onto Heretics' base, may well have cost them the game.
Camillu down for Mirwin though. The wave not cleared out. How long we got? 20 seconds, 16 on Alioya.
Blackhead's
It
still
should
alive.
be enough. Blackhead has 4 items, and his Draven comes to the fore. What a hard-fought game from Heretics, as they will knock SK out of playoffs and take that step so much closer to top 8.